Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. Today I'll be showing you how to create a portfolio page with HTML and CSS. Before we get started on this project, let me show you what we'll be working with. So we'll be working with this design and recreating it with HTML and CSS. I designed this in Figma first to speed up the process and avoid any hiccups that might come along. And I recommend you doing the same for your web design projects. So this is a fictional portfolio page for Stacy Gromberg. You could change the images and the text to your liking. So let's begin on that. So the first step is to create an index.html file. To add the boilerplate, a quick shortcut is Shift ! in Visual Studio Code. Enter. Then we'll change the title to portfolio. Let's add H1 to see that everything's running. Alright, it seems like everything's up and running for us. So I added a folder within our portfolio page folder containing all the images we'll be using. I recommend you do the same and include 6 images that you want to use inside your portfolio, since those are how many I have inside mine. Alright, now that we got that, let's add a link to the style sheet we'll create right now. Alright, let's create our style sheet by creating a folder called styles. And within styles, let's add a style.css file. Okay. Now that we got that set up, let's start working on our header. We'll give this header a class of new header so we can style it how we please later. I usually prefer using a header semantics tag just to help out with the SEO and when the website is crawled with Google. It also helps people that are using screen readers. Alright, now that we have that, let's add another semantics tag, which will be for our navigational links. Okay. And now to speed up the process, I'll bring in the code from the already created project and explain to you what it's doing. So we're adding a div with a class name logo and an anchor tag with the name Stacy Gromberg. This will be what will be placed on the left side of our page. The next step is to add an unordered list with 4 list items. Okay, we got that unordered list with 1, 2, 3, 4 list items. And the list items have an anchor tag within them so they can be clickable. And right here, you'll add the link to the pages you want and the href. Let's change this title to projects. Alright, let's save that and take a look at what we got. We have Stacy Gromberg and our navigations right there. Alright, now that we got our header, let's head over to style.css to style that according to how we want. The first step for our styles is to import the custom font we'll be using, which is called Clash Display. And we'll add a few global stuff to reset some properties. We're going to set our margins to 0, padding to 0, and box sizing, border box. Alright. We're resetting any properties that any element might have to 0 and padding 0, just so we can space everything according to how we want. All right, and if you don't know, this is a universal selector which targets every element. The next step is to give some global properties to our body. I'll bring that over to save time and explain to you what it's doing. So we're changing the background color, we're changing the font color, we're providing an overflow X hidden, and we're changing the body's font family to Clash Display. Save that, and now you can see that the font has changed and our color background has changed. Let's add UL and take off the list style. That'll take off those buttons, those bullets. And let's take off those underlines from our A tag. Text decoration, none. And let's change the color also. All right, now that we got that looking now how we want, now we have to edit our header section. That should not be too hard. I'll bring over the code and explain to you what it's doing, since this is taking this will take a bit if I don't. So we're targeting the class new header right here and the nav inside of it. So we're gonna change its width to 100% minus 40 pixels to the right to match the padding we're gonna give it to the left. Display flex, because we want our items to be aligned horizontally next to each other with justified content space between. This will give each of our L1 elements space between each other, and we want them to be aligned center with a minimum height of 10 VH. The basic concepts of Flexbox are: the Flexbox model, usually referred to as Flexbox, was designed as a one-dimensional layout model. The main idea behind the Flexbox layout is to give the container the ability to alter its items' width and height in order to best fill the available space, accommodating to all kinds of display devices and screen sizes. And it allows you to change the direction from vertical to horizontal, which is what usually HTML runs with. So now that we save that, our nav should be spaced. You see? We gave space between to separate this from that. And now we'll just have to display flex our nav items. So let's give display flex to our unordered list. Right there. And now we have to do is add a little bit of padding to it, and that should be all we need to do to our navigation. We'll target our new header class, the nav, and the li within it. Add padding 10 pixels to give it space, and change the font size to 16. And that should be all we need for our header. Yeah. Now that we got that set up, start working on our hero section. All right. So we'll create a semantics tag called section. With a class of hero section. And this hero section will have a div called the left section, which will hold all our content to the left. This will be a H1, 2 P tags, an image with a P tag under it, and another A tag, which will be styled to look like a button. In order to speed things up, I'll bring over that. So here's the H1. We're adding a BR to break the row, and we're giving it a span class red to change this color to red. And here's a div for our headline with the P tags. And the next step is to save an image under. This next div will be for the image right here. So let's name that my image. And add two divs because we're going to use display flex to align them. So bring that over and explain to you what it is right now. So we're adding a div to hold our image with hi Stacy, and another div for our button, work with me. We want one div to hold both of them since we're going to display them flex. Let's save that. Take a look. We have the picture and the stuff right there. And all we need to do now is add the last few things. The next step is to add our right section, which will be the giant image to the right. Okay, everything looks good. Save that. We have our left section ready. Now all we have to do is add our right section. The right section will just be a div with an image inside of it, which we will position absolute to move it around. Right, let's save that. And we have all our HTML ready. We're going to give this a display flex to the hero section to have the left items to the left section to the left, and the right section, which is this image, to the right. So let's start working on our styles. All right, let's start working on that hero section. We want our hero to have padding left 40 pixels, padding right 40 pixels, display flex to be so we can have the left side to the left and the right side to the right. Z index, want it to be 99 since we want our text to be over the right image. Position relative, since we'll be placing our image position absolute, and margin top 24 pixels. Now we have them how we want them. Now we just have to add a few more little sections to fix this. And change the font size for H1. So we want it to be 200. We want the font weight to be 400 since we don't want it to be bold. We're changing the line height and the letter spacing to what we want. Now we have to edit our headlines also. The hero section headline is this. web designer, and this is headline 2. So we're adding margin top and padding left to it. And then we'll add padding left also to headline 2 to give the design aesthetics we want. We'll change the hero section font size of our P. And we want it to be text transform uppercase. Save that. We'll add the class red, which will make our fonts red. This is a span right here, because we want this text right here to be a different color. And span does that for you and allows you to add a class within your H1. Okay, let's save that, take a look. See, now we have that how we want it. Now all we have to do now is fix these images to place them where we want. We're gonna give my image, which is this, margin top 80 pixels, display flex, and align items baseline. Since we want these side to side, but we want our button to be on the bottom. How we have it here. We want these to be displayed flex next to each other and aligned baseline, so this work with me will be right here. Save that. Let's fix our images. I'm gonna give it a minimum width of 200 pixels and a minimum height of 200 pixels. And an object fit cover so it won't be stretched, and width 100%. So we're changing the size of the image to make it a little bit smaller. Like this. Now we have it almost how we want it. Stacy Grunberg, web designer. Hi, I'm Stacy. All we have to do is change the font size and make this look like a button. So we'll change the font size of my image, P, to 16. Save that. Now we have it just how we want it. And to make the button look how we want it, we'll take a few lines. So I'm gonna bring those over and explain to you what they're doing. So we want our button to have a width and height of 200. We added a border to it. Border radius will make it look circular. We change the color, we align the text, we remove text decoration, added background color, font size, and all these. We added this margin left to pull the circle next to it. So you see, now we have it how we want it. And padding top 40% to move this work with me from up here to down. So see, I'll take that off and it won't look how we want it anymore, you see? And we added these transitions on hover. Now the last stop to our hero portfolio is to fix the right section, which is this right here. We want this to be positioned absolute to the right, and we want this div image to be a little bit smaller. So dot right section position absolute z index -1, since we want it to be behind the text, and right 40 pixels. You see, now we have it where we want it. We just need to lower the size of it. So right section, main hero, we want a max width of 650, a max height of 800 pixels, and margin left minus 40 pixels to move it a little bit to the left. So we're targeting this image right here and forcing its size to be specific to 650 pixels. Let's save that, and our hero should look just how we want it. There you go. And that'll be all for our portfolio page hero section. The next step is to work on the latest work section. I'll speed through this process as fast as I could to make this video a lot shorter. So that's it for part 1 of this video, and I'll start working on part 2 in a bit. Okay, the next step for our video is to work with our work section. So let's create another section. Give it a class of work. We'll add a div within it for our title and give it a class name of work title. And add a h2 within it with a span with a class name red to change the font color to red. So now that we have that, let's save it. See, now we just have to style the h1. Let's go over here. And let's work on our work section. I'll copy and paste that for us. So here's our work section. We want padding left, 40 pixels to match the hero. Margin top to give it some space, and we change the font size and font weight. Here you go. Now we have that where we want it. Now the next step is to create a div for our work images. Work images. Okay, I'll bring over the code, which will be a div for image 1. And save that. So here's the div. Class image 1. The p tag will be fashion in black, which will be on top. And then here's our image wrapped in an anchor tag so it could be clickable. Save that and bring over the code for image 2, which will be identical. Okay. Now we have fashion black right here. And we have the other picture down here. Right here. Now all we have to do is style the sections accordingly to look like that. So let's style image 1 and image 2. So we want to first target work images. Give it a margin top, 80 pixels to give it some breathing room. Display flex, since we want them to be next to each other. And justify content space between, to give them space between each other. Save that. And now we have them side to side, but since I have overflow hidden, you cannot see the other image right now. Once we change the width of it, you'll be able to see it perfectly. So we want to first change the image 1 and change the p tag within it. We want the font size to be 24 pixels and the line height to be 120%. Then we want to give the title a bit of breathing room, so we'll add margin to bottom. Well, image title, which is this. And the next step is to fix the image. And give it a max width 800 pixels and a max height of 1000 pixels. Save that. Now we have it how we want it. Now we'll do the same to our right side of the to our image 2. So I'll bring all that over just to speed up the process, and we'll be doing practically the same thing. So we're doing the same thing to the P for image 2, the same for the title, and we're adding a max width of 500 and a minimum width of 500. And we're adding object fit cover so the image won't look stretched, since we're changing its aspect ratio. Now we save that, it should look just how we want it. All right. And let's add a bit of padding to the right of image 2 and margin top of 100 pixels so we can move it a little bit more. There you go. We had a margin top 100 pixels to push it down and some padding to the right to give it the same amount of breathing room we have over there. Now we have that looking exactly how we want it. And we'll do the same for the work images and the bottom of them. So we'll create a new class called work images 2. So we'll save that div. And we'll do exactly the same we did over there. Add a div for the class image with a class name image3, which will be identical to the one on top over here, with a p tag and an anchor tag wrapped in our image. And we'll bring in image4 also, which will be identical. The only difference to these two is the content within them, but other than that, the syntax is the same. A div with a p and an a tag wrapped in it, and an image wrapped in an a tag. So let's save that. Now we'll have those two images under, and all we have to do is style them. So let's bring that over. So we'll do the same thing we did for work images 1 over here to work images 2. So let me just copy and paste that to save us the time. So margin top, display flags, we want the same. Justify content between. We'll do the same thing to the p tag, the title, and the image. We'll change their properties how we did before. So we changed the p to font size 24. We changed image 3, image title, we gave it margin bottom 16 just like we did over here. And we're adding a max width and a max height. So now we have that how we want it. And the next step is just to work with the last image, which is called image 4. So for image 4, we want to add padding right 100 pixels and margin top minus 200 pixels to bring the image a little bit up. You see, now it's a little bit up. And we'll do the same we did before, changing the sizing of the image and editing our P and image title. So we're adding the image size to be max 400 pixels and max height 500 pixels, and the P tag exactly the same as this one, and the title is everything's the same. So let's save that. And now we have that perfect how we want it. They're wrapped in anchor tags to be clickable. So you just link your projects right here. You'll just change the src of your A, your href right here. You'll put the link to the page you want. All right, we're almost done with this project. We only need a few more steps. The last section is just to add the let's connect and our footer. So let's do that right now. So for this, we'll just create a div called let's dot connect and add a h3 with let's connect inside of it. We added the span around connect since we want it to be red also. So let's take a look. There you go. Now we have to do is style it however we want. So let's add a title so we can know where it is. We'll change footer section. We'll add a dot let's dash connect. We'll give it padding left to match the padding of all the other sections, and margin top 100 to give it some breathing room. Now let's target the let's connect H3 to style the font how we want it, the sizes. So copy and paste that to save time. So let's connect H3. We want the font size 250 pixels. We're changing the line height, the letter spacing, the font weight to 400. And we want it to be aligned center and the text to be uppercase. So let's save that. And now we have that exactly how we want it. Now all we have to do is create our footer. So we'll add a semantics tag for footer. And within that, we'll add an unordered list with 1, 2, 3 list items. I'll bring that over to save time. So we'll have an unordered list right here with a class named new footer. 1, 2, 3 list items with anchor tags inside them to be clickable. So we'll have our Twitter, our Instagram, and Facebook. If you're wondering what this does, target underscore blank and real non-opener, it allows you to click on a link and open a new page instead of keeping you here. So let's see. That's what that will do. It creates a new page tab. So the last step for this is just to style our new footer. That's pretty basic stuff. So new footer. We want it to be displayed flex so they can be next to each other. See, now we have to do is change a few little things. We want to change the margin top, give it some breathing room, center our content, and add some padding to the bottom to give it breathing room on the bottom, 60 pixels. There you go. And now our last step is just to give our list items a little bit of breathing room to the right. $16 pixels. And now we have that how we want it. Let's fix the A tag also, change its font size to 16 pixels to match. Text, transform, uppercase, and text decoration, none. All right, now that we have that, we have our portfolio page completed. So we wanted to design this web page in HTML and CSS, this portfolio page, and we have done that in under 40 minutes. So here's our design, our final project. Stacy Grunberg, web designer, visual artist. Work with me. And here are our latest work. And our footer section, which has our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay. That's it for this project. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching.